Alright, welcome. I'm Michaela, as you're probably aware. I've changed a few things around here. I'm hoping having a live 2D model will make editing videos a little quicker, and I might even start doing streams more often. I almost went with the design that just looked like me in this painted style I used for the speed paint. I even drew the whole thing out before I realized I could just be an owl witch monster thing. I don't understand why anyone would pick being human when they could just not. As for that whole slasher redraw I promised before I dipped out of YouTube a few months ago, it's being put on hold. I may change my mind, I did just see the new Scream, but in general I'm no longer planning videos ahead of time. I also have a new, more manageable schedule, which I'll briefly talk about at the end of the video. Anyway, on to the art. So, as you might have guessed, today I'm drawing Mew Mint's new design. I absolutely adore the original Tokyo Mew Mew. I still have the old recolors I made in middle school on MS Paint. I can't find any of the traditional drawings I did of OCs, but let it be known I could not get enough of this show. While Spirited Away had been my favorite movie since childhood, it did get me into watching more anime, but for some odd reason watching the Mew Mew Power Dub did. Yeah, I watched that nonsense and was like, yes, more please. This was of course back in the YouTube days of old, so the limit for videos was 10 minutes, so all the episodes were split into chunks. I didn't even know the dub stopped before the actual end of the show. I was so confused when I switched to the sub version to finish it, and it was probably my first time trying to read and watch at the same time. The funniest part is right after I finished it, I went to watch Full Moon, which was also a dub that ends partway through. I did not watch the sub version of it at that time, though I have tried several times to start back over with the Japanese, and somehow I always end up at the same place and never actually finish it. I don't know why, I have such fond memories of Full Moon. Anyway, I've rewatched Tokyo Mew Mew somewhere between 4 to 6 times, and I also have the omnibus version of the manga. This includes the sequel a la mode, which I originally read as a poorly translated pirate version, so it's nice to have the real deal. I also have the Tokyo Mew Mew Return manga, and I've been debating about catching up with Olay, which I'm not quite sure if that's the correct translation of the new title, but, you know, it doesn't matter. I haven't even decided if I'm getting it. I really wish the game was translated so bad. I'd set up a Kickstarter to get it done if I wasn't sure I'd get sued. It's so weird to think about how this series is the whole reason I enjoyed the magical girl genre. I mean, I'm not as intense as some people about it, but I've went through quite a few anime and manga because of it. Just to bring the point home, here's a list of magical girl series I have experienced. I've read and currently own the manga of Cardcaptor Sakura. I haven't watched the anime though. I already mentioned Full Moon. I watched Revolutionary Girl Utena way before I could grasp any of the concepts it was going for. Princess Tutu is great and I love its atmosphere. I've only watched Healing Good Pretty Cure and none of the other Pretty Cure series. I've watched the first series of Simpo Gear and Yuki Yune is a Hero before dropping them both, because they made me so mad. Just why? Just why? Why? Anyway, of course there's Vidoka Magica, but I watched it after all its hype had dissipated, and only the show, not the movies or the spin-off. Sailor Moon's on the have-watched list too, but only the first season. I kept meaning to go back, but it's so long, and I was going to watch part of it with my nephew, but I don't think he's really that into it. I think he just wanted an excuse to hang out with me. I had an intense obsession with Ojamajo Doremi, and part of me really wants to get back into it now that I can actually, process things. Back in middle school, I watched the first 3 episodes of Shugukara, so maybe that might make a bit more sense to go back to. I just saw that Saint Tail is considered a magical girl anime, so I might actually watch that instead. Though I was recommended once again to watch Magic Knight Rares, which I still haven't gotten to. Just looking at all these just fills me with so much nostalgia and unlock that weird part of me that just gets really excited about stupid things. It's great. I've also watched a bit of Wedding Peach, but not enough to matter. And some of one of the Jewel Pits, and I have no idea which. If you want to talk about non-Japanese variants, there's Winx and Witch, and really, if I was going to talk about those, they'd need a whole separate video. Lastly, I just bought Blue Reflection Second Light, which is a magical girl RPG. I may buy the first if I enjoy it, but I'm currently playing through the Ace Attorney Chronicles right now. Another game, but I don't think this one counts, is that I was weirdly fascinated when Clock Tower 3 made the new protagonist into a magical girl. It's definitely a series I'm pretty fond of, even if it's not always the best. Anyway, I feel like I've spent a lot of time not directly talking about this show, even though that's what the whole video is about, so I suppose I could get back to that. Take a guess who my favorite Mew Mew was. The drawing is a hint, but maybe a little bit misleading. The truth is, I'm a huge Sakura fan. so that's something me and Mint have in common. That, and I did take ballet for like 2 years, even if I did quit, and she, that's her whole deal. I actually kind of hated Mint at the beginning when I first watched the show. It definitely grew on me. Like, my thoughts on her is that one John Mulaney bit when he's talking about his wife, and he's like, she's a bitch, and I like her so much. That is my thoughts on Mint. Her new design is definitely my favorite out of all of them. I wish Zacharu didn't have that stupid head bow, and I miss Pudding's jumpsuit. Ichigo and Lettuce are pretty high in the ranking. I do feel a loss at Ichigo's pink hair, but the red is so much better. I'm attached to the pink. Like, the red looks better. The pink is just her. Given that they created a singing group with the main voice actresses, I think it would be neat to have them each sing a solo song during their transformations. At the very least, just for the first one. I already love their rendition of the original opening. I think it would be a neat way to tie in their singing careers with the show and not really feel forced or anything, but you never know. If you want to talk about shipping, I personally think Ichigo should have ended up with Ryu instead, even if I didn't like him at the start. I used to utterly loathe Messiah. Don't worry, I was never one of those awful fans that took every opportunity just to bash him, because I always thought that was kind of rude. Now I find him endearingly stupid, which I don't think is the intention. Either way, he's okay now. Personally, I've always been a Quiche fan, but he's a garbage stalker boy, so he's not a good choice. No matter my undying love for him, it's a bad choice. As for everyone else, obviously Tart and Pudding are adorable, but they're also the only two characters in their age range anyway. Mint and Sakura are girlfriends though, and you can't change my mind. I know some people are like, oh no, she's just really a big fan. No, she's not. I never really shipped Lettuce with anyone. I mean, I've read fanfiction of her with Keiichiro as well as Pi. Neither really stuck with me though. Mostly I just thought the whole Pi thing was an excuse so that each of the villains could be paired with one of the heroes. It was pretty prevalent back when I first got into the series initially, so maybe there's more to that than I just don't see. I get why people like it with Ryu, but I already stated who I thought he should have ended up with. Whether you agree with me or not on these, I'd like to hear everyone's opinion and why. I love how different people can view the same characters through entirely different lenses. Even if it does sometimes cause issue in fandoms, I think overall it's a net positive. Seeing as this is a reboot, I'm unexpectedly optimistic. I know people trash on Sailor Moon Crystal, but I've only heard praise of the new Fruits Basket. I'm still on season 1 and haven't seen the original, so no spoilers please. Also, Full Metal Alchemist has Brotherhood, which everyone constantly goes on about, though I've still not watched it, or the original movies. The more I talk about this, the more I realize I really suck at finishing shows, even when I enjoy them. I'm still on season 3 of My Hero Academia, too. It's honestly kind of ridiculous at this point. Is this like an ADHD thing, or a me problem? Either way, it's weird. I binge a whole show in 2 days, or I never get to the end. It's a nightmare on my non-existent sleep schedule. That being said, I don't think I'd be this excited if it wasn't an anime reboot. I'm not against the current trend of rebooting old cartoons and movies, but they don't seem to have the best track record on being good, especially horror movies. Now, to completely change the subject, I'm having a lot of fun with this new painted art style. I always hesitated to get rid of my line art because even if I did enjoy the process, I liked the look. This, however, is more fun, and it looks better. If you don't mind getting spoiled for my next few videos, you can check out my Instagram for some more art I did with this method. Is it strange that I want to compare it to sculpting? I feel like I'm carving into my art instead of just layering over it. Plus, I found out I can do some really neat things with the lighting. I could probably still do it with the old style, but this is easier somehow. That about wraps it up for what I want to talk about in this one. I want to do more topic type videos, like my one on how it's okay to give up sometimes, but I'm having some trouble finding ideas I could give a different point of view on. I still like these sort of rambly videos, I just want a bit more focus sometimes. Oh, and I know I just did a video where I was working on my webtoon Conservation, because I wanted to take a break from Cassandra and Oliver's story, since I was worried I wouldn't do it justice. However, I abated Conservation, and I'm right back to working on their story anyway. Listen, I just love Cassandra and Oliver so much, and Oliver is probably the closest thing I'll ever have to a son. Plus, I had to try to hold back the horror elements when I was working on the other idea, and I get free range to just be the worst in theirs, so that's fun. Okay, so I'll be here on the 15th of every month at 9 AM, so if you like this video and want to stick around, please subscribe or leave a like and comment for the all-powerful, all-knowing YouTube algorithm. I've got a link in my commissions in the description, as well as my Ko-fi if you just want to donate to support me. But that's about it. Thanks for watching, and farewell.